Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to Final Fantasy Bestiary. This series is dedicated to discovering the history and lore behind some of Final Fantasy's most iconic creatures. This episode, we will be covering the wolf, Fenrir. For a short background of what Fenrir is to human history, he is a massive wolf in Norse mythology. In terms of his importance, he was actually the son of Loki, who was destined to kill Odin, though he was struck down by Odin's son during the Ragnarok. It is also said that he was bound by the gods due to his rapid growth and rising threat. This process allowed him to inflict one last injury, biting off the hand of the god Tyr. Fortunately, Fenrir retains his image as a wolf throughout the Final Fantasy series, for the most part, first appearing as an Esper in Final Fantasy VI, obtained after defeating Humbaba in Moblez. His primary attack was called Howling Moon, and it greatly raised the party's evasion. Though he had little to no influence in the game, the popular Norse god did continue to appear throughout the series. Now mind you, despite this being his first major appearance, Fenrir was present in the series prior to this in Final Fantasy II. Though he was originally known as the Devil Wolf, he was eventually renamed to Fenrir in future versions of the game. He also appeared in the very early title of Final Fantasy Legends II for the Game Boy, as well as a character in Final Fantasy Legends III. In Final Fantasy IX, Fenrir returned, though sporting an extremely different appearance to his basic wolf appearance in Final Fantasy VI. He is able to be summoned by Eiko through the sapphire gem she carried when the party discovered her. When she summons Fenrir, Fenrir actually then summons Titan to use the move Terrestrial Rage. However, if Eiko has the accessory Maiden Prayer equipped, Fenrir will instead use his own attack, Millennial Decay. Fenrir was also the name of an airship in the game, piloted early in the game by several of the game's villains, including the Black Waltz 3. In Final Fantasy X, Fenrir left his ability to be summoned behind and instead became an optional boss in the Monster Arena side quest. While he is considered one of the weaker optional enemies, he does still sport some powerful moves, including a 90% health reduction attack, an instant death attack, as well as just being naturally super agile. You can challenge him by capturing 3 of each Lupine-typed fiend for the arena. Fenrir returned to being a summon in Final Fantasy XI, where most would argue Fenrir really stomped his image onto the Final Fantasy series. In this incarnation, Fenrir is one of the 5 terrestrial avatars who watches over Vana'diel with the purpose of enlightening its races with the gift of magic, specifically the Tarutaru. He was eventually betrayed by the Tarutaru Karaha Baruha, who drained Fenrir's energy from his sanctum, the Full Moon Fountain. This event caused the surrounding areas to slowly decay away over the years. It is even said that before this event, Fenrir was actually strong enough to rival Bahamut in strength. Karuha eventually summoned Fenrir's full power to save Windurst from a horde of beastmen, though this much energy caused both him and Fenrir to vanish forever. While this granted him the title of Hero of Windurst, it also obliterated the life of the terrestrial avatar. Now, he may only be brought back to life physically by taking a piece of power from the 6 celestial avatars in Vana'diel and bringing it to the Full Moon Fountain. Fenrir was eventually brought back to life when Karuha Baruha was brought back from the dead and sacrificed himself again to return the Full Moon Fountain to its glory. Fenrir's ultimate attack in Final Fantasy XI is Howling Moon, a reference to his attack back in Final Fantasy VI. That same design for Fenrir from Final Fantasy XI was also present in the Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn art book that came with the physical collector's edition of the game, hinting that the legendary beast may yet make an appearance in Square Enix's latest MMORPG. He did also appear in Final Fantasy XII prior to this, though his appearance is quite the opposite of what you might expect. Instead of a wolf, which we've pretty much established in this bestiary that is what he is based off of, a Norse wolf, he is instead a giant white cat, which is, as I said, kind of the opposite. He only appears as a mini-boss during an optional encounter with the Shadow Seer. Now, while the monster Fenrir may not make any more immediate appearances, his presence is referenced in a different kind of way in a few other Final Fantasy games in the series. In fact, he became extremely prevalent in the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, where Fenrir represented many of Cloud's characteristics and emotions. Making his first appearance in Advent Children, the movie of course, Fenrir appears several times. The most obvious appearance of his is as Cloud's bike, which he uses to perform his delivery services and store his weapons. Cloud also wears a symbol on his shoulder pauldron that resembles a wolf, which is indeed labeled as Fenrir. The final appearance in the movie series is the Grey Wolf that follows Cloud throughout the series. It is said that in the reunion files that this instance of Fenrir is used to represent Cloud's personality, his loneliness, and his guilt. Due to his many failures, including the deaths of Aerith and Zack, Cloud sees himself as a lone wolf who attempts to deal with problems personally, disregarding the help of others. It appears several times throughout the movie, though eventually disappears to signify that Cloud has forgiven himself for his past mistakes. The Fenrir retains its Final Fantasy VII theme in its two other game appearances. First, as a Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts that resembles the key to his motorcycle, and second, as Cloud's strongest weapon in Dissidia and Dissidia Duodecim. And then, Fenrir makes one last appearance in Final Fantasy XIII-2, where he takes the form of a dark, cloudy fal'Cie entity in the sky. This fal'Cie follows the sun's movements to leave the mountains below in perpetual darkness. It is worth noting that in some versions of Fenrir's Norse mythology, he himself actually swallows the sun and the moon, making this a symbolic reference to his actual history. Now, while Fenrir's tale is a short one, his image and suggested power have struck through Final Fantasy veterans who have at least had the pleasure of experiencing him across the series, especially his appearance in Final Fantasy XI, where he was actually given a significant role in the game. What more can we expect from this Norse wolf in the future of Final Fantasy? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy videos and information. Be sure to check out the rest of my channel for some of my other videos and series, especially if you're a fan of Final Fantasy XIV or 11. Now, of course, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter where you can get regular updates about when I'm posting these kind of videos, and you can also pick my brain about any questions you might have regarding my video series, suggestions, whatever you want to say. And of course, feel free to follow me on Twitch, where I am currently doing a streamathon called Final Fantasy February, where every day I will be streaming Final Fantasy games. I've already finished Final Fantasy 1, and yes, I know it's not February yet, but I was just so anxious. Let's just say it's a special leap year for Final Fantasy February. It's officially 34 days this year. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.